Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It is the Advent Pod SA, a timely voice indeed, and we're glad to bring you this episode just as friends. Nothing too hectic, just as friends. Friend, introduce yourself. They don't know you. I know you. They don't.
Wow, they know me. But anyways, I'm one of your host, Carl Nopidane. That's all, right?
Yeah, well, Ken is the host of the Advent Pod SA. Yeah. So today we just wanted to bring you something that has been on our minds, which is basically just a boys' chat. So this is going to be like your man cave, where we're going to have all the boyish conversations. Obviously, we won't go too much into the locker room because there are females in the audience as well. But we just want to talk about the struggles, the challenges, the upsides, the things that people don't understand about us in this growing phase of our lives. So we just want to, call this the GENTS cave. So if you enjoy this episode, just comment in the comment section GENTS cave, and we'll know that you were following this episode. So I think we're just gonna start with basic. How have we been doing? Because I don't want to lie to you, it's been a lot. These young men doing ministry and business at the same time. It's been a lot. So Peter, how have you been doing, man?
I always say I'm fine.
You?
Well, it's both true and not true at the same time. Meaning, as a boy child, we're trained to, if there is no solution that is going to come out of how are you, the answer should be I'm fine. Because why should we go? Why should we go into the details if there is no? But there's been minor things, nice life problems,
okay,
bad life problems, but overall life has been hectic but good.
Hectic but good. I think that's something that many men can relate to. We struggle to put our feelings into words, guys. So you'll forgive us. I mean, we don't really have a broad lexicon or dictionary base where we can say, look, I'm feeling fine, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling, the feelings. We don't do too many feelings, but we'll try. You see, as we go along this journey, we'll be learning how to, manage and balance our feelings as well as men. But I think to your point, Pidani, we feel a lot of the hectic. We feel more of the hectic than we do the happiness, and the other things.
No. There's more of the hectic.
Yeah.
But you choose to bring the happiness.
In the hectic.
Yo. So I remember I had a conversation with one of my friends talking about just, I think we're talking about going out, like vacation, like that money. I can build a one room with that money.
No, guys.
I'm like, my guy, back in Venda I can use that money to build one room. You know that? And it's like, no man, you always build one rooms.
Yes.
But it's important to enjoy.
To enjoy yourself, right? As well.
One rooms comes and go, but enjoyment, like facing the struggles, knowing that okay, I am enjoying myself.
Yeah.
You choose to see, it's hard. I had a hard day. I had a hard week at work, but I'm going out. I'm taking myself out. I'm doing something that I enjoy. I'm going on a trip. I'm going on a hike. Anything, even that does not cost money.
Yes.
But doing something that you know what, I just enjoy myself.
And I find as young men, we hardly celebrate ourselves. Like, you'll go through milestones of life, Peter. Milestones, I'm telling you. Like, you get a new job, doing well, you're getting. I know you think in your small world that you're not achieving.
Not that.
What is it?
It's more okay. It's more of what now, right? Get a new job.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to buy a car.
Yeah.
Buy a car.
Mm.
I need to buy a house.
Yo.
Buy a house.
So it's always the next thing. The next.
So the moment you get that achievement,
Yeah.
before you think, oh, I've made it.
Yeah.
You think, okay, what do I do next?
Yeah.
And you forget that, oh, just made an achievement here.
Yeah.
Just think, what's the next thing? Get a new job. You're thinking, okay, I need a car. Then now you forget that you just got a job.
Yeah.
What you're thinking about is, until I get a car.
Yeah. You're not there yet.
I'm not there yet. When you get the car, you're like, until I get that apartment, until I buy that apartment and stop renting.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yo.
Now you have to wait for until I get married.
Yo.
Like,
Yo.
there's always the next best thing.
Yeah.
So you forget that, oh, this best thing that you have now
Is good.
was your dream yesterday.
Yo.
Right? But you want the next best thing.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's not just guys only, but it's just natural. But we human beings think of the next best thing. You've achieved this, but you think, what about what's the next thing that I can do? And you forget the now.
Yo, guys, count your blessings, eh? Count your blessings, because I think it's one thing that we forget also in the Christian walk, man. Like, yes, there's the next best thing to look forward to, but also count the time you're in now is a blessing you've prayed for previously. So make sure you acknowledge God in those circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, and enjoy yourself. I think this is one thing that we tend to forget, like enjoying yourself in the moment. I was reading a book, the Wealth Chef.
Yeah.
Written by the South African lady. Interesting. She was saying she was living below her means. Living below 50% of her salary.
Sure.
But she was not happy. She was miserable with all the money, but she didn't understand what wealth meant.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
She was saying in now she has what we call an entertainment budget.
Okay.
Right. She saves. She's still saving. It's important. We still need to have aspirations and dreams. We're not saying don't have those.
Yeah.
You still need to think of the long term, but also in that you can at least say, you know what, every 3 months, 5% of my earnings, just a random number, showing it there, 5% of my earnings, it's for me to enjoy myself, for me to do anything, like just enjoy yourself, just to know that, oh yeah, you know what, I deserve this. I worked hard. I wake up every day, go to work. I run my business. I landed this customer. I landed this project.
Yeah.
Like I've been through all this. It's because many a times no one is going to appreciate you.
Yeah. I think also expecting to be appreciated is just not gonna happen for you. Like
it's different from a girl child. Girl child
are taught to always appreciate it. Are also taught to seek appreciation.
No, and they are taught to be not just to seek appreciation, to expect to be spoiled.
Yes.
But boy child,
no one will spoil you.
A boy child is taught from a very young age. You are taught to spoil.
Yeah.
To grow up to be a father who provides.
Yeah.
You know, you are taught. So our father sacrificing everything for their family and everything, right? So you are taught to sacrifice, but in that sacrificing, don't take away the sacrificing. It's important. It's what makes a man, right?
True.
In that sacrificing, enjoy yourself.
For sure.
Enjoy yourself.
Yo, guys, you heard it here. So I think maybe let's talk about some of the struggles that the brothers face. So brothers, this is your safe space, man. Yeah, let's talk, guys. Let's talk. I think there are a few accusations out there about us.
Okay.
They say, number one, we don't talk, Peter. So to what extent is that true, and to what extent is it not true? They say we just don't talk. We're going through a lot as young men, young career men or young student men, but we don't talk. What's the problem?
So and this is why I wanted to have this conversation. When I talk, right, about my problems, I expect a solution.
Yeah.
Right. So men don't talk for the sake of talking.
Yes.
Right. Men talk, but they don't talk for the sake of talking.
They want solutions.
They want solutions. That's why a lot of females get frustrated by men, because when they talk to them, like when you come to someone to talk to him for him to listen, the moment you start talking, he thinks of a solution, because that's how we get. That's why then we don't talk, because you guys, ladies talk because sometimes they just want to be heard. We don't talk because we want to be heard. We talk because we want solutions, right? So we don't talk because we're thinking, let me just find a solution. And by the time when I find a solution, I've solved it. What's
there to talk about?
What's there to talk about?
Yeah.
If I'm hungry, I can't, like, what's the point of me coming to say, I'm hungry if you won't give me bread? But when I have bread, why should I come and tell you that yesterday I was hungry?
Yeah, okay, I see. I think it also goes to there's a level of self-sufficiency that one wants to build within their lives in any case, and you want to feel the sense of independence and feeling in control of your life and things like that. So I get some of where it comes from, but I think if it's kept inside too much, it can break a man. If there's never an outlet, like, at all, that could break a man.
No, man. We should talk, right? Even if we're not looking for solutions, we should talk.
Yeah.
Find someone who you can talk to.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know when I said this. You need someone who will give you a voice of reason.
Yeah.
Right? Beyond just talking about emotional stuff, but you need an intellectual who will see things intellectually when you're not. Yeah. Right? Because many a times we don't see things intellectually. We are emotional beings, not just any human being is an emotional being. So emotions cloud our judgment. So you need someone to talk to. Things that will give you a perspective of logic to say, logically, this is how you can. This makes more sense than this, right? For example, when I was telling my friend to say, hey, chief, one room, he said no. Going out would make more sense. Well, it doesn't, like, it makes more sense to enjoy yourself than one room. Not because of anything, because when you've enjoyed yourself, you become a better human being. You calm, you don't have all those stresses. You can think of other ways to. So it also increases to your life expectancy and your I want the word I'm looking for. Your quality of life, your standard of life, right? Not just having big house and everything. That's why they say rich men are not happy. But doing all those things, and also, so talking, it's hard, man. But find someone who you can talk to. And also, I think we're accused of not talking, right? But the question that is thinking is, are we listened to?
Wait. I think all the men here, all the men watching this, I'm telling you, man, these guys can agree that hardly ever are we listened to.
Are we listened to? Right, when we talk. So if we're not listened to, many men start by talking. But when they're not listened to, they're just like,
And what do you think when this thing happens where you talk and then what you've spoken about that's from maybe a vulnerable place is then at some point or another used against you, like in your point of weakness, that thing that you spoke about that time, because I you were encouraged to talk, and they said to you it was a safe space. And then you went into the safe space, and then you talked, and then it was nice, and you healed. Then boom, you're at your low again, and then they remind you, Caps, you again. You are busy here. You talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 previously. I am never talking again. Forget. What do you think about that, Peter?
No, man. So it's an issue of so it forces the talker not to talk anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is with the recipient,
Yes.
right, of the news, to say sometimes if it was possible to talk and wipe someone's mind that you talk. Talking is good, by the way.
Yes.
It's very good. I went to therapy.
Okay. And you encouraged me to go, and I didn't go.
I went to therapy. I was going through my grandfather's passing.
Sure.
Then I went to therapy. I only went for one session.
Okay.
But the therapist encouraged me to talk.
Mm-hmm.
To talk about
the experience.
The experience I shared with my grandfather and everything. And I did that, and then I said, oh, when I was not talking, when I was just thinking about it on my own, it was depressing. But when I talked, I smiled. I was happy. Yeah, like, because you think of all good things,
yeah.
and all that. So also when you talk, okay, let me say this.
Yeah.
To the response to your question.
Yeah.
There is a level of trust, right? Everywhere. Even states have clearance level.
Yes. Yes.
Right. I'm a coder, like I'm a programmer. I was a software developer at some point. So when we're doing software, we had something that we call claims.
Okay.
So we're saying there's something called authentication and authorization.
Sure.
Right. Sure. You might be authenticated, but you might not be authorized to do something.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you must have people that you talk to certain things.
Okay. So you must have levels. Okay.
Right. You don't talk to everyone every day.
Okay.
So for the person to hear things that they can use them against you.
Yeah.
They must have went through a trial.
Yeah, they must have gone through certain stages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Certain stages to say, okay, I can trust you with the most vulnerable. Because you have proven to be capable.
Okay.
Right. But if you fail through it, no, okay, we trust you to this degree. Beyond that, you're not trustworthy. Right. So it should be like that also when talking, to say, okay, who is the person that I trust most with? I trust you from here to here. Beyond this, no. Beyond that, no. Beyond, yeah, that's just it.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
Yo, I really hope we can heal, man. I think it's something.
But also healing. It's tricky, man. It's understanding that we need healing in the first place, that we start looking for healing, right?
Yeah.
Most of us don't think we need healing.
That's very true.
It's the normal that we were told to be a man.
And just go through life, just go through whatever
It's
comes
good to make you strong, but it's not everything. I always say human beings I don't believe in independence in any way, sort of form.
Okay.
I believe in what I call it codependence.
Okay.
We're social beings. I always say this statement that human beings are social beings. need someone. Actually, my brother always say, people who say they're self-made, self-made anything, are ungrateful.
So I can't call myself a self-made millionaire.
You're not a self-made millionaire.
Okay.
There is no self-made.
There is no self-made. Okay. Yeah.
There is. If you say you're self-made, you are ungrateful.
And you're denialist in your approach because you're denying the very people and the very structures that assisted you.
To say, okay, let's say for instance you say I built my company from ground up, right, without anything.
That might be true.
There is a first client that believed in you.
Yes.
When you didn't have any, they took a risk
on you.
You have never done anything like this before.
Yes.
We don't know if you're capable. But we risked and gave you the opportunity. Right. We're not like, that's a risk. That person is part of who you are in some way, shape, or form. True. We're not saying we're not taking by giving acknowledgement to others, you're not taking away from yourself.
True.
Right. There is a part that you played. You played most of the part in what you have. But you are not self, self alone did not get you where you are. So there's no self-made anything, right? Even academically, even if you say you get your job, right? There's a hiring manager that believed that you are capable of doing the work.
True.
When you have never been hired anywhere before, right? 90% of the time when we leave varsity, we don't know the work. We know nothing. But there's someone who said, you know what? I think he has a potential. Right. And you studied. You prepared for the interview. You did everything, but it was in that person's hands to believe in you, to give you that job that made you where you are today.
Sure.
Right. So self-made. Nah.
Interesting that you say that, because I was gonna piggyback this conversation onto black tax, because if we then going to say there's no self-made, right, and part of the people that not could claim they made us, because that's also a very toxic way of viewing life. You can't go to a person and say, hey, I made you. That's not okay. Also, don't do that. Okay, please don't do that. But at the same time, Pidani, how do we then balance? Because right now, we're in the phase of our lives where, yes, we are all striving to, towards better career opportunities. We are in the career space. We are pushing as hard as we can to, go up the ladder, as it were. Ne? But going up the ladder is not the same for everyone in our era, and the differences come up where. The family expectations from Kahano's family, this is not anecdotal, but from Kahano's family, not the same as the family expectations from Pidani's family. And so we can't expect Pidani to psychologize money the same way as Kahano psychologizes money. And we can't expect Kahano's money dreams and goals to be the same as Pidani's money dreams and goals. Tell us how that plays a role. If there are people there who are struggling with the balance of building their wealth portfolio, so to speak. I mean, it's a small one because they're still starting out, building a wealth portfolio, and at the same time, helping family to get at least to a level where they be comfortable to say, okay, family is good.
So,
I know it's tough.
It's tough. There's different approaches to this one, right? And I'm not one to. Okay.
Say which one is correct.
So there are people who approach it to giving. So my way of understanding. Okay, let me speak on my way. Right, and how I've seen things being done. So you can approach it by giving people a monthly allowance, right? So they do month, which, in my view, it's not a long-term solution, right?
Okay.
So I hate the term black tax.
Yeah.
Right. I just call it helping. And there's a conversation which might get me in trouble in the church. But but I'm one who, well, I was raised to be told that I cannot take my tithe to church when we don't have food at home.
Okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I grew up seeing that. To say, okay, we rather have food at home before we take money to we take our tithe, right? So, and those things, right? Depending on how you look at them, but my case is simple, KG. What I would advise people to do is to push people to help people help themselves.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I was speaking to my uncle. He was sitting me down with my cousin sister. He was saying, "Nah, Daddy, need money for you to buy me an apartment. Now I'm done."
Yeah.
Then it's like, you're crazy. It's like, you're crazy. It's like, yeah, I took you to school, man. And now that I've taken you to school, well, it was not obligated to do that. It's not my father, but he said, I took you to school, and now you're at school, you're working. I can push you I can pay for your apartment before you get a job.
Yeah.
For the next 2
months or so.
1 month, so that you don't sleep outside, you don't sleep hungry.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But you must be looking for a job. But after that, hey chief, I need to go out with my wife.
Yeah.
No, now you see me, I'm not taking my wife out to Dubai because of you. Like, you guys just go to school, finish school, get job, so that I can enjoy time with my wife. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. He's telling the truth, man. Yeah. He needs to enjoy time with his wife. Right? So what I've seen, I've seen a guy who says, okay, I have 2 parents, or I have 1 parent who's not working, who's at home, who needs financial support. I can't take them to school, right? I have a sibling who's younger, I can take those to school.
Yes.
But I have maybe a sibling who school opportunities are out. So what they do is we say, what they normally would do is, what kind of business can we do to make sure that these people don't ask money from me continuously? They have their own source of income. There's something that they're doing. You can do that.
Okay.
To say, if education is the primary key, to say, okay, we'll push for your education. Right? We'll make sure that you get higher education. And once you've gotten your higher education, we'll see, okay, we can push you out when you're still job hunting for the few months, give you money for data, food, interview, taxes, and all those things. Give you a roof under your head if you need one when you're still job hunting. Maybe give you rent free for the first month that you're working, that kind of thing. But if it didn't work out education wise, right? Any reason, right? We then say, what can we do? If there is means, we say, okay, what can we do? We say, okay, we can start you a small business, but also don't do that at your own expense.
Okay.
So
collaborate is what you say.
Yes. If, for example, you want me to get you to do something for you, Kahan. Say, okay, I'm very hungry, man. I don't have money. And I take out my last 100 rand, give you money to buy food. You take your 100 rand, you go out with your girlfriend.
I go and have a nice time.
That means
at Rosebank.
I love your girlfriend more than I love mine.
Yourself.
Right?
Yourself.
Because if I didn't give you that 100 rand, you would not have went out. You would have used the 100 rand that you had, that you went out with, to sort yourself out. I would have used that 100 rand on myself. I would have used that 100 rand on my girlfriend if I wanted to. So also make sure it's not at your expense. In Venda there's a saying, I love that saying. Right? We raise the one that is also trying to raise itself. So don't do it at your own expense. You can't be paying for people to do things that you can't do. One thing in my family that they never did, we know, like they paid for everything, school, whatsoever. Yeah. But one thing that they drew a line. They never paid for romantic activity. Proper. They would give, like for school, we'll give you money for school, but for your romance, no man fund another man's romance. Proper. No, right.
We hear.
Because I mean, like, no man.
Rule number 1 in the GENTS cave: no man funds another man's romance.
So no man fund that. Like, I remember once I was like, "Hey, I need money."
For what?
For what? Like, now I wanna get a girlfriend. It's like, what? I know what. Like, my uncle was just saying, "Hey man, I have my wife. Yeah, I need to take care of my wife. So if you feel like you want a girlfriend or you want to, must be good enough to fund that relationship yourself outside me." But also, it's good to help people. So it also gives you a sense of purpose. Sure. Right. No, like you didn't come. Like imagine if you come and when you get to heaven, we ask you what you did, and you can't even point to one person who would say, if it was not for Kahana, I would not have had the life. Like you need to, not for the, and actually not for the if not, but just helping to say, just helping someone out there, making them better even. Just helping someone out there, making their life better. It's very important.
For sure. But I think I love the fact that you mentioned sustainability, because I'm in sustainability, but for other reasons in work and whatever. But I think sustainability plays a role in everything we do. So if we're going to support fellow family members, but we don't have a sustainable model to do it, it's gonna end up
in whatever you do. Right? You must ask yourself, what happens if I die?
Okay. What happens if the tap stops running?
Yes. In Venda there's a saying, okay. The cave has flooded.
The man cave has
flooded.
No.
So you see a cave?
Yeah.
It has flooded.
Yeah.
So it was back then when caves were not places where we can go and hide. So when it has flooded, we can't access it. But we need to have securities to make sure that the cave does not flood.
Yes.
Right. So sustainability is important to say what happens when I die.
Okay.
Right. In whatever, be it you are young, married, non-married, whatever. What happens when I die? Because, let's say for instance, you have married a wife, you have 2-3 children. Right?
In this economy,
it's a general number, I could have said 5.
You see this man?
You have 2, 3. So with those 2, 3, you have siblings. You're taking care of your siblings, right? They older, younger, whatsoever, right? Then, God forbid, your children are 15 oldest, right?
High school age,
primary school age. God forbid you die. It is only fair and logical for your wife to want to keep all the money so that your children have a better future. And no one can blame her. That means you need to have made enough resources available. If you believe, like, you need to ask yourself, what will happen to my siblings that I'm taking care of when I die?
Yeah.
Because first people you need to take care of, it's your kids. All right, like
it's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
We can't have fathers who are great uncles but bad fathers. We can't know you to be a very great uncle, a rich uncle, rich aunt, but you're a bad father. Right? That's very wrong. Right? So, and when your wife decides that I'm taking all the money, and keeping it, no one can blame her, because there are primary school kids who still have 10 years ahead of them.
True.
A 15-year-old has, I believe, at the age that we should be cut off. Well,
what's the cut off to that?
25. And that's generous.
Yo, it's generous, and we've been cut off. Some of us.
25.
We've just been cut off.
25. It's generous, but 25. Would have done everything to make sure that you're fine. 25. But hey, don't cut me off. Just to my family. No, and cut off not as in cut you off, but to say you now.
You have enough to be on your own.
You have enough to be on your own. You have enough that if, God forbid, everywhere your siblings, your parents, everyone is not around, you can still live.
You live, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 25 is, and I'm just saying, I don't like.
I'm saying it loosely.
Loosely.
Yeah.
I don't like putting pressures on people, but 25 is an age where I feel like we can cut you out. Right. It's an age where you should have your things figured out. If you don't,
there's still grace.
There's still grace. There's always grace. I mean, we serve a God of grace. But what I was saying is, a 15-year-old oldest, for example, have 10 years until 25.
Yes.
That means whatever sense you left,
you must.
There must be enough. No, I'm saying your wife must be thinking, whatever sense this guy left must be enough for 10 years, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
This children must be sorted out. Right? Now, there is no enough money to be continuously taking care of siblings that are not hers.
Yeah, we should not.
She's not evil.
She's not responsible for them.
She's not evil.
Yeah.
She's just thinking of her best interest here.
And this happens a lot, but it pains me, like in the
I don't blame them.
African community, and then you get people who blame them. Okay,
no, man. I'm saying they are. These 10 years.
It's 10 years to look to,
10 years. How much a year can a child have to spend if they're living a decent life? Because remember, you don't want your children's standard of life to go down because you've passed, right? So they need to think, this children's standard of life, they can't be stressing with, we don't have a father.
Yeah.
Now
we don't have money for school.
We don't have money for school. We don't have money for caring. We don't have. At least they must have one problem. I don't have a father. One. Right.
Sure.
Now they can't be thinking, had my father been alive, I'd be going to that school. Had my father been alive, I would be driving that bicycle.
Have medical aid.
I would have medical aid. Had my father been alive.
Yeah.
So you need to be sustainable enough to say. Actually, it needs to be. You need to be sustainable enough. You need to push it enough that the siblings must be now saying, "Hey, we are uncles now. They need to show themselves that."
Or they can step in.
They can step in because you have been
investing in them.
You must invest in them enough that when the time comes, they must step in.
Surely.
That's how I was raised. To say, we pay for empowering you. That just in case, God forbid, something happens to one of us, right? We will make provisions. Everyone should make provisions for their offsprings and everything. They will make provisions, but you should be strong enough to make sure that they're fine. And to make sure that they're fine, we say it's the same thing. To make sure that they get the basic things that make sure that they're sustainable themselves.
Sure.
Right. So I push education because it went for me.
I hear you,
Right,
and I think empowering instead of maintaining the status quo is the goal of this emancipation of people from whatever situation or standard of life. You know, I was listening to an interesting conversation about how it's very challenging to be a I'm gonna say this without fear of contradiction. It's very challenging to be a boyfriend, quote unquote, in this era, modern generation era, and whatever.
Why?
I'll tell you why. It's not the pressure that is put on us by the girlfriends.
Okay.
No, it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
It's the pressure we put on ourselves.
No.
That, like, you know that thing where we dream for them men they should be with. So we dream for ourselves to be men that they would want to be with.
Which is a good thing, though.
It's good, but it applies pressure on the men that you're not yet. You're not yet that guy, but you want to be that guy.
Yes. And so there are two things that that you need if you need to push your life, right?
Yeah.
Get married, get a child.
Okay.
Right. And don't do it when you don't have anything.
Okay.
Do it
When you're something.
when you have something, a little bit of something, right? And
So encouraging people to get married early.
I'm not married, so but I would encourage people to get married early. And there's my reasoning.
Okay.
If you really love your wife
Mm-hmm.
and you really love your children,
Mm-hmm.
you would want to do anything to make sure that they have the best life possible.
Yes, we all want that to be done.
But KG,
yeah.
one thing I've realized, men
Mm.
are people who are content with a
Yes.
simple life.
Do you see my apartment right now? Okay, guys, okay. This is shot in my apartment. Eh? Currently,
Yes.
I'm not looking to buy a sofa
There is-
until maybe next year.
There is no couch here, right?
Yeah, there's no sofa here.
We're sitting in this.
I was sitting on these weird little chairs that my mom got me, but that's not the
so,
point.
yeah.
Mm.
So, if you were married,
Yeah. There would need to be a couch.
so you would go out to look for money to get a couch. So you must marry someone who won't get you in debt, but will make you want to get money to get a couch. That means you will be a better kahano because you married.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And a headboard. Guys, apparently, men don't buy headboards when they live alone. Most men. Okay, let me not speak for, because I know men who wait, man. Because men are hectic these days. You know, men put on what is this thing? Buff and shine these days, man. Men are hectic these days, okay? But I know there are men who have headboards. But for most young working class men, guys, let's be honest, now we don't need headboards.
No.
We don't need headboards, and we won't get them unless there's a female agent somewhere that inspires you to get them.
The moment you start getting headboards, might be when you start having video calls at night.
And you're engaged.
Right, but I'm like headboard.
Aye, bro. Aye.
No, but you see those kind of things.
Sure.
Now you need to say, okay, now there's someone who's coming and say, ish,
No,
need a headboard. Now you're like, okay, yeah, let's push money to get a headboard.
yeah.
You're fine with your thing, with your small car, for example. Someone is coming and say, hey, we need a family car so that when there's children around,
Yeah.
you know. And let's say, for instance, you have your wife, you sorted, come a child. You need to now say, okay, we need to have more money. Even when you're applying for a job, and you can go to your boss and say, Chief, I have a child. You know,
Yeah,
like
please.
increase,
Pop the cheese.
pop. Like, do you want my children to die of hunger?
Huh? You can use that.
You can use that as leverage, man.
Yo.
Like, you can use that as leverage when it comes to times for increases. You're like, hey, my God.
Consider me for that promotion.
Consider me for that promotion. I'm a father.
Yeah. And really,
And you also get low rates on life covers,
yeah.
insurances and everything, because they believe you're more reasonable, you're more responsible and all those things. But also, those people will push you to want to be your better self.
True.
Right.
So alone then.
But also, if you got a wife.
Yes, don't put pressure on yourself if you don't have a wife, guys. Relax.
Yeah, get a wife.
Relax.
No, pressure is important, but pressure is when diamonds are made. So people say, I don't know, I didn't do chemistry. I hated chemistry. I was a mathematician.
What are you saying about
You're a chemist. There are things we don't agree upon, and we're friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, chemistry, music.
Guys, you must repent. You must repent. But it's all good and well, man. I think we've touched a few aching topics. Obviously, we're just giving you brush strokes of most of the things that you guys might be facing in life. And we say you guys, notwithstanding,
loosely.
There's a female audience as well. But I think generally this is just to gain some insights into what goes on in men's brains most of the time, and what we're thinking about and what we feel pressure points on. So I think this has been a helpful-ish conversation to kind of cover those things. Do you want to say anything else for us before we close?
A man of few words, man.
This guy. You've been talking the whole episode and he says a man of few words.
Man of few words. Even at work, I'm in meetings and I'm just looking there. I'm just no, but one thing my advice to everyone is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
All aspects of life.
Sure.
Emotionally, physically, economically.
Yeah.
Important. All of them are important, right? However you feel like taking care of yourself, if you want to go out, if you want to exercise, physically, just make sure you're good health-wise. Physically, make sure you're good health-wise. Physically, you look good. It's important. Make sure you're good economically. Make sure you're good emotionally, right? It's hard, but you need to push. You need to push that you get to that point where you have they call it, well, the one that people say a lot is nice life-work balance, but you just have to have a nice life balance. Yes. Right? All aspects of life, you have a nice life balance, and when you have taken care of yourself, everything becomes easy, man. You become more productive. You think, you sit down, you think of different avenues where you can make it even more better. Right? When you're not stressing so much, when you have good health, you can be able to make more money. You can take side hustles. When you're not emotionally, when your emotions are in the right place, you can think properly. You can. So it's important. They all play, and also economically means if you have money, you can be able to do things that makes you feel good. So they play into each other. I don't know. I don't even know how many they are, so I can't say triangles.
How many Kalis? No, I'll give them a summary. So we shared this. We had a Boys to Men conference with my family and brothers, and basically I think I shared with them. I got this from some rabbi I watched a long time ago.
Yeah.
On YouTube sometime, and they said basically there's five F's.
Okay.
In life that a man should keep in check, in balance, and they must run concurrently. Like you can't make one suffer over the others. So it says number one is faith. So this is a Christian podcast, right? So we believe in God here. So faith is important, and then to faith, he says family is important. Very. So that's either the family you are looking towards or the family you have, both of them. Very important.
Oh, they both are important.
Yes.
Both are important.
And then friends. So friendships, not just in the sense of Peter and I, also the networks and the colleagues and the people that you build in business, the relationships that you discover along the way as well. So those are very important.
Yes.
Which it goes into networking and all those nice things. And then the other one is finances. Finances, very important. Very important. I don't know if you guys picked up. I think I'm gonna put a count of the number of times he said economic high. just to give you guys perspective, how much this thing is a challenge for our age group. Economic high. finances. And then the last one is obviously fitness. So if we have faith, friends, family, fitness, finances, we're good to go.
Good.
Yeah, so I think the last verse I'll leave with you guys is a verse for really just equipping you. You don't have to, you can break it down whenever you want to. I'm not gonna theologize it here. There's a platform for that. Ecclesiastes 10 verse 10, if the axe is dull and a man doesn't sharpen the edges, they will use more strength. But wisdom availeth much. Cheers.